Welcome to another session of Wireless Communications and Networks, Unit 2, Mobile Radio Propagation, that is large scale path loss. Today's topic is outdoor propagation models. Today's topic is outdoor propagation model. Here, what is an outdoor propagation model? Nothing but in previous sessions, we have discussed about how to calculate path loss. What is the general way of calculation of path loss? The difference between the transmitted power and receiver power, we have calculated general path loss. But in the mobile communication, to transmit radio signal from base station to mobile station, here not only the difference between transmitted power and received power, we have to take account of what is the terrain, what is the terrain contour, what is the terrain profile of a particular service area or coverage area. Must and should not only transmitted power, not only received power, but consider what is the terrain profile. In the terrain profile, is any buildings are there, any hill stations are there, any trees are there, any obstacles are there. Based upon that, also we are getting some loss. That is also have to take an account. That's why we are going for outdoor propagation models. Outdoor propagation models. That is, we have to take an account of trees, buildings, and other obstacle losses also for calculating path loss. For calculating path loss. That's why we're going for outdoor propagation models. Here, the aim of this outdoor propagation model, is used to predict signal strength. Is used to predict signal strength at a particular receiving point called area or sector. Maybe change from one place to another place. Accuracy also change, complexity also change. Suppose now I am nearer to the base station, we are getting a high signal strength. Suppose I am in the after 10 buildings. Nothing but we are taking more reflections due to buildings in between transmitter to receiver. Suppose trees is there or hills is there, then automatically change the signal strength at the different areas. That's why we are going for outdoor propagation models. Now we are going for what are the different types of outdoor propagation models are available and how to calculate path loss. The first method is Longley-Rice model. Longley-Rice model. Here, the Longley-Rice model for calculation of path loss, it is applicable only for point-to-point communication. It is useful for only for point-to-point communication. The frequency range is in between 40 megahertz to 100 gigahertz. 40 megahertz to 100 gigahertz over different types of terrains. The terrain contains hill stations, or buildings, or trees, whatever it may be. But it is useful only for the type of communication is only point-to-point communication with a frequency range from 40 megahertz to 100 gigahertz. Here, in Longley-Rice model also, we have to consider three basic propagation mechanisms, that is reflection, diffraction, and scattering. Here, for the calculation of reflection in Longley-Rice model, is there any loss getting due to reflection by the Touré ground reflection model? Touré ground reflection model used to calculate the signal strength in a radio path between the transmitter to receiver. Similarly, for diffraction losses calculation, we are using Fresnel-Kirchhoff knife edge model to calculate diffraction loss. Similarly, we have to calculate the scattering losses also over a long distance. Is there any rough surface is there? We have to consider three losses also. Due to reflection, any loss is there. Due to diffraction, is there any loss is there? Due to scattering, is there any loss is there? These three losses we have to consider to calculate path loss. Here, the other name for this Longley-Rice propagation model is called as the ITS. That is ITS irregular terrain model. ITS irregular terrain model. Here, All these outdoor propagation models are simulations, nothing but computer programming. Computer programming, right? Suppose we are using this long-range model by using computer to generate computer program. What are the inputs required to get output in computer program in a long-range learning? But the long-range model, the frequency range is between 20 megahertz to 10 gigahertz, which we are using for simulation purpose. For simulation purpose, here, what are the inputs required to generate output in a computer program is what is the transmission path? In that particular transmission path, what is the frequency which we are using? And what is the path length? That is, what is the distance between transmitter and receiver with respect to how much path? What is the path length? And what is the polarization? And what are the base station antenna height? And similarly for mobile station antenna heights and surface refractivity, effective radius of Earth, ground conductivity, ground dielectric constant, what is the climate, and what are the type of antennas which we are using, what is the elevation angle, what is the angular horizon distance, what is the terrain irregularity, and other specific inputs. These are some of the inputs required to get output. Once we know these all inputs, just type your inputs in the programming, you're getting output with respect to curve. This is about Langley-Rice model. Here, Langley-Rice model operates in two methods. Langley-Rice method operates in two methods. The first method is point-to-point mode. The second is area mode. Here, what is meant by point-to-point mode? Nothing but we know the terrain profile. We know the terrain profile. Then automatically we are getting output. What is the path loss? What is the terrain profile here? What is the path length? What is the antenna height? What is the conductivity? What is permeability? What is the distance between transmitter to receiver? What is the height of the antennas? What is the elevation angle? Like this, some of the inputs we know. Then automatically we give these inputs to programming. Directly we are getting output. That is point-to-point mode. In other mode is called the area mode. If terrain profile is not available, that is we don't know the input values. Input value. Then we have to estimate first the input parameters. Then once finding the input parameters only, we have to go for predict the output. That is called the area mode. That is two modes are available in Langley-Rice model. That is area point-to-point mode. Second one is area mode. Right. Suppose if there is no line of sight path is present between transmitter to receiver, there is no direct path from transmitter to receiver, especially in urban areas. Automatically we are getting attenuation due to number of reflections. Number of reflections. Here in Langley-Rice model does not provide the way of determining corrections due to environmental factors. Here, what is meant by correction factors? Suppose the antenna heights are we are giving. Suppose I am giving 100 meters height of base station antenna, 3 meters height of receiving a mobile station antenna. Suppose we are getting so much of noise, so much of path loss. At that time, we had to change the antenna heights, either increasing or decreasing. The increasing or decreasing the antenna heights is correction factors. These correction factors are not available in Langley-Rice model. Langley-Rice model. That's why we are going for Durkheim's model. It's a case study. Durkheim's model is a case study. Right here, this Durkheim's model, although which is similar to the Langley-Rice model. This is also a computer simulator program. Computer simulator program. Here in this Durkheim model, first of all, we have to draw a radio path between transmitter to receiver. Draw a radio path between transmitter to receiver. right? Then only we have to go to execute the Durkin's models. Here, the execution of the Durkin's path loss simulator consists of two parts. What is the first part? Right. First of all, the first part access topographic database of proposed service area and reconstructs the ground profile information along the radial joining of the transmitter to receiver. Here, what is meant with the first part? Suppose now I am fixing our base station, newly designing the cellular system. Suppose in that particular village or urban area, there is no cell phone service. Newly installation of new cell phone services at that time. Before fixing the base stations, that is cell phone towers, first we have to check what is the topographical terrain profile. Within the 15-kilometer radius, here what is the structure of the ground? Is there any hill stations are there? Buildings have, what are the calculated building heights? Is there any valley points? Is there any forest is there? Based upon this topographical database, we have to reconstruct ground profile information. That is, now before going to that construction, now I am assuming 100 meters height is enough. But by checking the database of the terrain contour, now I am assuming that 150 meters height is fixed only. It covers 15 kilometers. That is about first part. That is the first part is access a topographic database of a proposed service area and reconstructs the ground profile information. Along the radial joining of the transmitter to receiver. Here we did not consider the multipath propagation. Directly consider a direct path from transmitter to receiver. In the second part, once it is completed, the second part of this Durkin's simulator algorithm calculates the expected path along the path. The radial path. Here nothing but see this one. This figure shows that suppose I am fixing the base station in the particular area. In that particular area, I am dividing the total area in terms of rows and columns first. Suppose I am taking Tirupati city. In Tirupati outskirts, there is no telephone, there is no cellular phone available. Now I am considering the particular area. The particular total area divided into rows and columns. The rows are column width is which is equal to small a, and between each row column point we have to check what is the height. Suppose each and every column in that particular column area is there, what is the height of the building in that particular area, what is the hill station is there. The heights we have to store. That is, these are two-dimensional array. First it is completed. Heights are completed. Then only once the heights we know what is the highest height in this two-dimensional array, first we have to know. In that particular direction, we have to check the antenna base station antenna height is 100 meters is possible to transmit to cover. It is not possible, we have to increase the height. That's why we have to take area divided into number of columns and rows, and we have to we have to note down the what is the height of the buildings are in a particular cell. This one, Durkin model. And similarly, once it is done, next we are going for, see this one, the top view of interpolated map and line transmission between transmitter to receiver. Now fixing transmitter and receiver. Transmitter is fixed one, that is base station fixed one in one point, and the receiver is moving. Now see this one, we have to draw ABCD here. A, B, C, D. These are points. That is radial joint between transmitter to receiver. Here, when we are getting A, B, C, D points, that is from this transmitter to receiver, this radial joint point. From this radial point joint, what is the nearest heights? Take the average and give it is points of A, B, C, D. Once we are getting average points, we have to draw the radial joint. This is about top view. Top view. Similarly, from side view of the toroid profile between transmitter and receiver. See this one, this is the transmitter, this is the receiver. We have to radial joint here. We need radial joint. This is the heights. The different heights between either hill stations or buildings are there. Here D1 is equal to RA, D2 RB, D3 is equal to RC, D4 is RD. Here these two figures shows illustration of terrain profile reconstruction using diagonal interpolation. Here see this one. Is there any line of sight path between transmitter to receiver? Here height H2 we are getting. It obstructs. This is obstacle between the transmitter to receiver. There is no line of sight path. At that time, we have to increase the antenna heights. We have to increase the transmitting antenna height. Then automatically we are getting line of sight path. That is, see this one. This is H1, H2 like this number of obstacles heights are between transmitter and receiver. See this one. Now I'm increasing the antenna height. The transmitting antenna, then automatically the line of sight path is coming. Here, how much antenna height is increases? It depends on delta J value. That is, delta J is nothing but height of the line joining transmitter and receiver antennas from the height of the ground profile. Height of the ground profile. Here small d is nothing but the distance between the transmitter to receiver. Transmitter to receiver. Right. Here, once it is completed. You see this one. Here in this, we have to increase the antenna height. Nothing but all of you know Fresnel zone geometry in diffraction model. Fresnel zone geometry in diffraction model. Here Fresnel zone depends upon the n value, n equal to 1 to 1 2 3 4 like this. Good line of sight path, n equal to 0. For small increasing, n equal to 1. Here in this concept also we have to consider first Fresnel zone concept. First Fresnel zone concept. Based upon this first Fresnel zone concept, finally we are calculating the new parameter is V. What is meant V? Diffraction parameter V. Based upon this V value only, we are calculating the gain. Already we discussed. Suppose this terrain profile, we are increasing height of the antennas, right? It fails. Suppose it fails the Fresnel zone concept. Here, what are the other possibilities? That is, the first one is non-LOS, non-line of sight path. Second one is LOS path. Right? Here, in both cases, for good line of sight path, no problem. For non-line of sight path, again we are going for checking up to Fresnel zone concept clearance. Right? That is, in non-LOS system, nothing but we are getting 4 categories: single diffraction edge, 2 diffraction edges, 3 diffraction edges, more than 3 diffraction edges. We are already discussed about this topic is single diffraction edge and 2 diffraction edge. Yes, this one for single diffraction, no problem. Suppose for 2 diffraction edges, what is the 2 diffraction edges? In between transmitter to receiver, 2 obstacles are present. These 2 obstacles, we are getting a diffraction loss. For this 2 diffraction edge model, instead we have to find out what is the height of these obstacles, taking average and draw a new obstacle, imaginary obstacle between transmitter receiver, and find out how much loss we are getting. Similarly, for 3 diffraction edges also. 3 diffraction edges also like this, we have to consider. Here in both two diffraction edges or three diffraction edges, we are calculating how much oscillation we are getting. Suppose we are going for see this one, the direction. This is I have to assume that in two diffraction edges, on the right side it is called as the transmitter, the left side is called the receiver. See this path, first transmitter to first one, first obstacle, then second obstacle, reach to receiver. Next one is from transmitter to direct, second obstacle, from second obstacle to receiver. Next combination is from transmitter to first obstacle to receiver. Different combinations is there. From all combinations we are calculating attenuation. Here what is made by attenuation? Loss of a signal strength. How much loss we are getting? How much transmitted power? How much received power? The difference is called the attenuation. We are calculating different attenuation from different paths. Finally summation. The final is called as a path loss. It's about Durkin's model. Here in this Durkin's model is very attractive than the Longley and Rice model. Why? Because it is a digital version and easily calculate the path loss. But the main disadvantage of this Durkin's model cannot adequately predict propagation effects due to foliage and buildings and other man-made structures. If the trees is there, it is not possible to calculate due to trees and due to buildings, due to again man-made structures, not for natural structures, man-made structures. Automatically, it is not perfect method to calculate path loss. That's why we are going for the next model is Okumura model. Here, this Okumura model widely used in urban areas. It is used in urban areas and the frequency ranges in between 150 megahertz to 920 megahertz. And the distance between transmitter and receiver is 1 kilometer to 100 kilometer. And antenna heights from 30 meters to 1000 meters. See this one, Okumura model used under urban areas. Frequency range in between 150 megahertz to 920 megahertz. And distance from transmitter to receiver is 1 kilometer to 100 kilometer. And antenna heights is 30 meters to 1000 meter. Here in this Okumura model, we have to calculate median attenuation related to free space, that is AMU. AMU, nothing but median attenuation. What is the median? Free space. Next, HTE, height of the effective antenna height is 200 meters. And mobile antenna height is HRE, 3 meters. The height of the transmitter is 200 meters. Receiving antenna is 3 meters. And the type of antenna, which is the omnidirectional antenna system. And the frequency range now we are using is 100 megahertz to 220 megahertz. With a distance of 1 kilometer to 100 kilometer distance. Then from these all factors, how much loss we are getting? That is for the path loss in terms of dB. That is L50, 58% of path loss dB, which LF plus AMU F of D minus GHTE minus GHRE minus G area. Here one is my LF. LF is nothing but path loss in a free space propagation. Path loss in free space propagation. That is, there is no obstacle is present at that time calculating. Next, AMU, median attenuation. GHTE, antenna height gain factor for the base station. GHRE, mobile antenna height gain factor. G area, gain due to the type of environment. Once we know, directly calculate the path loss by using Okumura model. Here, how to calculate that is GHTE and GHRE. Suppose we know HTE value, height of the transmission. What is the height of the transmission is 200 meters. What is my HRE? 3 meters. And based upon this, the HTE value in between 30 meters to 1000 meters, then GHTE, which is equal to 20 log HTE by 200. When HRE is less than or equal to 3 meters, then GHRE, which is equal to 10 log HRE by 3. Next, the HRE in between 3 meters to 10 meters, then GHRE, which is equal to 20 log HRE by 3. This is a method to calculate the GHTE and GHRE value once we know HTE and HRE value. Right here in this Okumura model, correction factors may be available. What are the correction factors? Suppose the antenna heights are low, we have to increase. How much increase the height? How much increase the height? That is, this is a correction factor, right? This is about Okumura model. The next model is Hata model. In this Hata model, is valid from 150 megahertz to 1500 megahertz. This is one of the standard formula is there to calculate path loss, especially in urban areas. Urban areas, that is the path loss L50 urban in terms of dB, which is equal to 69.55 plus 26.16 log of FC minus 13.82 log of HTE minus AHRE plus bracket start 44.9 minus 6.55 log HTE bracket close log D. Here in this, what is meant by FC? Nothing but carrier frequency. It is in between 150 megahertz to 1500 megahertz. What is my HTE? Height of the transmitting antenna. What is my HRE? Height of the receiving antenna. What is meant by AHRE? Nothing but correction factor of the receiving antenna. Correction factor of the receiving antenna. What is meant by D? The distance between transmitter to receiver. Now we are going for what is meant by AHRE. Here AHRE is the correction factor of the mobile antenna height. Suppose now I am sitting in the inside the home. I am not getting the signal. Right now I am moving to top of the building. Suppose the building height is 3 meters. Sorry, 30 meters height. Initially, I am sitting in the inside the home. It is 3 from the ground. It is maximum to 1 meter. Now I am moving to top of the building. It is 30 meters height. Then automatically the height of the receiving is high, right? We are moving from ground to second floor or third floor. Then automatic signal coming. That is the correction factor AHRE. Here the AHRE for the small medium city. AHRE for medium city is AHRE, which is equal to 1.1 log FC minus 0.7 HRE minus bracket start 1.56 log FC minus 0.8 dB. Similarly for large city, then FC is less than 300 megahertz. FC is less than 300 megahertz. At that time, AHRE, which is equal to 8.29 multiplied with log of 1.54 HRE whole square minus 1.1 dB. This is for FC is less than 300 megahertz. Suppose FC is greater than 300 megahertz, AHRE, which is equal to 3.2 log of 11.75 HRE whole square minus 4.97 dB. Once we know where it is medium city or large city, they automatically calculate the path loss by the Hata model. Similarly, this is about urban area. Now we are going for how to calculate path loss in suburban area by the Hata model. The path loss for suburban area, that is L50 of dB, which is equal to L50 of urban minus 2 multiplied with log of FC by 28 square minus 5.4. This is about path loss for suburban area under Hata model. Similarly, we have to calculate the path loss model for rural areas. by using Hata model. That is L50 of dB, which is equal to L50 of urban minus 4.78 log FC square minus 18.33 log FC minus 40.98. All these are standard formulas. Once we know the FC value, once we know the AHRE values, then automatically calculate the path loss in urban areas, suburban areas, and rural areas. This is about Hata model. Next model is PCS extension to Hata model. PCS extension to Hata model. Right. Here in this PCS extension to Hata model proposed by European Cooperative for Scientific and Technical Research. European Cooperative for Scientific and Technical Research, EURO -COST. European COST. This is the generalized formula for path loss calculation for urban area. That is extension of Hata model. That is the path loss is path loss of urban area, which is equal to 46.3 plus 33.9 log FFC minus 13.82 log HTE minus AHRE plus bracket start 44.9 minus 6.55 log of HTE log D plus CM. See this equation, check with before equation of Hata model. The CM is changes. Here what I mean is CM. The CM equal to 0 dB for medium-sized city and suburban areas. CM equal to 3 dB for metropolitan centers. And frequency FC is equal to 50-100 megahertz to 2000 megahertz. HT equal to 30 meters to 200 meters. HRE, which is equal to 1 meter to 10 meter, and D equal to 1 kilometer to 20 kilometers. Once we know this one, then we substitute in the above equation number 87. We are getting path loss for urban areas. That is called as the PCS extension to Hata model. Next one method is Wallfisch and Bertoni model. Wallfisch and Bertoni model. Here, based upon the name of the scientist, Wallfisch and Bertoni, it is called the Wallfisch and Bertoni model. Especially this model useful for calculating path loss due to rooftops. Due to rooftops and building heights. Based upon the rooftops and building heights by using diffraction. By using diffraction to predict what is the average signal strength. Here for this one, the path loss calculation S equal to P naught into Q square into P1. Here what is meant by P naught? The path loss in a free space, that is P naught, which is equal to lambda by 4 pi r whole square. 4 pi r whole square. What is meant by Q square? The Q square is nothing but reduction in rooftop signal. Reduction in rooftop signal due to rows of buildings. Due to rows of buildings which is immediately shadow the receiver at street level. See this one. This is a Hata. This is a base station antenna. This is a receiver. The number of series of buildings is there. The mobile station is in between buildings. Then there is no line of sight path. See this one, number of reflections takes place. Finally, reach to the mobile station. Here what is the R? R is nothing but the distance between the distance from transmitting antenna to receiver. Here the distance, you see this one, in this distance small d only we are getting number of reflections finally reached to the mobile station. Right? Likewise, I think we have to calculate Q square. Q square is nothing but reduction of the rooftop signal due to the row of buildings which immediately shadow the receiver at street level. Right. Next, what is meant by P1? P1 is nothing but we are getting signal loss due to diffraction. Due to diffraction. Finally, in terms of dB, the path loss S of dB, which is equal to L naught plus LRTS plus LMS. What's my L loss? Free space path loss. LRTS, rooftop to street diffraction and scatter loss. LMS is nothing but multi-screen diffraction loss. Multi-screen diffraction loss. This is about Wolffish and Bertoni model. The next last model is wideband PCS microcell model. Wideband PCS microcell model. Here in this model, especially it is used from the era starting in 1919 onwards, with a frequency ranges in between 20 megahertz to 1900 megahertz, 1900 megahertz, and height of the base stations from 3.7 meter, 8.5 meter, 13.3 meters, likewise from above the ground. Here also we have to check the two-ray model or ground reflection model. Suppose we have to assume that ground is flat, reflection can be takes place, and the distance is from df is called the first Fresnel zone outcome. Then df which is equal to 1 by lambda root of summation square by minus delta square whole square minus 2 summation square plus delta square lambda put to lambda by 2 square plus lambda by 2 whole power 4. This is about the distance of first Fresnel zone. From this, suppose we are assume that the type of antenna which is omnidirectional vertical antenna, nothing but which radiates power equal in all directions. From this df value, suppose the d value, that is the distance between transmitter and receiver in between 1 to df, then the path loss which is equal to 10 n1 log of d plus p1. Here what is meant by n1 is path loss exponent. Similarly, whenever the d value is greater than df, then the path loss which is equal to 10 n2 log of d by df plus 10 n1 log of df plus p1. Right. This is about OBS case. For non-OBS case, the path loss for a long distance is path loss in terms of d is equal to 10 n log of d plus p1, where n is obvious path loss exponent. This is about the last model, right? Here today we discuss about how to calculate path loss with simulation tools, especially for outdoor propagation models. Here the first method we are discussing here, right? Langley-Rice model. In this Langley-Rice model, we have to know the input values, then automatically give the input values in computer programming. Automatically we have generated output is path loss. The second one is Durkin model. It is a case study. And third model we discuss about Hatta model, Okumura model, PCS extended to Hatta model, Wolffish and Bertoni model, and PCS different models are we have discussed today's class to calculate path loss in outdoor propagation model. Do you have any query? Please type your query in a chat box. Thank you very much for attending today's session.